Hello friends, welcome back to week 2 of Pantry Challenge. We are going to be making some hamburger buns right now. In my bowl, I have some milk and water. I'm taking its temperature because I warmed this up and I don't want to kill my yeast, and it feels a little warm, which it is. So I am going to add the honey to try to cool it down just a little bit. When I took its temperature, it was at 118. And I want to make sure that it's not any hotter than 110 before we add our yeast. We are making hamburger buns today because I really want hamburgers. Today's Sunday by the way, so we're starting week 2. Yesterday I almost sent Josh to pick up hamburger buns on his way home. He went out with his brother golfing yesterday and I was really wanting hamburgers, not just the buns, and I did not want to cook, but I didn't send him to get hamburgers. So today we're going to make hamburgers. So what are we at now? We're at 106, which is perfect. So in here we have water, honey, and milk. We're going to add a tablespoon of active dry yeast. I got myself some new yeast, so this should work really well, hopefully. We're going to add a half tablespoon, so we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of yeast because I am cutting this recipe in half, and I just realized I forgot to half the honey. So this bread is going to be a little bit on the sweet side, which is fine. I'm using my 1-hour dinner roll recipe to make these buns. I've never made hamburger buns using this recipe before, so we are going to see together how it turns out. But this recipe makes 12 rolls, which is way more. We don't need 12 hamburger buns, so I'm going to make 6. We're going to let that sit for just a minute and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. While that sits, I'm going to put the rest of this away. I did do a little bit of shopping for this week in my freezer. Very minimal. I grabbed some tortillas out of the freezer. These are just some store-bought corn tortillas because I want to make sure that this week we have tacos. I'm really wanting some tacos. I grabbed a jar of peaches. This is just to have for dessert one night or for breakfast or something. So if I don't bring these up from the pantry, we won't eat them. So I grabbed it so I can put it in the fridge to get cold because I like my canned peaches nice and cold. While I'm in the fridge, I'm going to go ahead and grab some other ingredients for tonight's dinner. It looks like I have some Swiss cheese that we need to use up. I bought this quite a while ago. Let's see. And it is still perfectly within date. It says we can actually use it by January 30th, 2023. So, but I've had that in my fridge for about a month, so we're going to put that on our burgers tonight. I also grabbed some red onions from downstairs to have up here so that we can do some cooking with some onions tonight and for the rest of the week. Our yeast has foamed up really nicely, so we're going to add the rest of our ingredients, which are really simple ingredients. We're going to add 2 cups of flour, a good amount of salt, and butter. I made the mistake once of adding the butter in with the yeast, or in with the milk and the water first. And if the butter floats on top, and then if you add the yeast can't proof. So now I always add the butter at the end. Just using my Danish dough whisk to mix this together. It comes together fairly easy. This is a really easy recipe. Once it comes together like that, then I'll get in there with my hands. And I'm just going to knead this in the bowl for a few minutes, probably 4 or 5 minutes, until we get a really, really nice, smooth consistency on our dough. You know what? I think I'm going to take it out of there and we'll just do it on here. We're going to get a little bit of an arm workout. You can absolutely make this in a stand mixer and then you have to do less kneading, but I don't mind kneading it by hand. I actually kind of enjoy it. So you can see how beautiful the dough comes together. So I'm going to put it back in the bowl, but before I do, I'm going to take a little bit of spray. This is just some avocado spray. Spray the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and throw a towel over it. I'm going to put this in my oven on the proofing setting, just so that it will proof nice and quickly. So I want to get this going. We're going to have an early dinner tonight. And that only needs to proof for about 15 minutes. While that's proving, I'm going to go ahead and prep some of the toppings we're going to put on our burger, just so that I'm not wasting this time in the kitchen. So I'm going to slice up some of this cheese and this onion. And I think I'm going to make these burgers on the grill because it's not that cold out. I mean, it's kind of rainy and gross out there, but I have some pre-made burger patties that are frozen, and I've never cooked those in the oven before. Typically, if I make burgers inside, I cook them under the broiler so I can get a nice char on them. And instead of cooking them on the stove, this cheese smells really good. Where, you know, when you make burgers in your house, it just kind of gets, that smell kind of gets everywhere. So I like to do it in the oven because it kind of keeps the mess down. But I've never cooked frozen pre-shaped patties like that before, but I've cooked them on the grill and they cook up really nicely. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and cook dinner up on the grill. But first I'm gonna slice this cheese. Since I am slicing cheese or cutting cheese, I'm gonna just go ahead. Josh, you like Swiss cheese, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because I am cutting it and that's what we're gonna put on tonight's burgers, as long as you like that. And then I'm just gonna cut it all up so that I have it already cut up, ready to go, because we're not gonna use all of this tonight, but we will at least use some of it, and then the rest of it will be cut and we can use it some other way. And then we're gonna put a red onion on our dinner tonight, and I'm going to cut these in rounds. Josh and I both really like onion, and we both really like onion on our burgers. I'm gonna cut kind of thin. I'm actually gonna take just a little piece off so I can get this to sit flat, a little bit safer here. And then I'll put this whole ring on the onion on the grill, and that will be really yummy. And I'm gonna show you a trick on how to get your onions to stick to your burger. So we're gonna make 6 burgers tonight, because we will eat burger patties and make burgers for leftovers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slices. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my mess, and then while we continue to wait for that oven to finish proving our dough, Josh is over here and he's got the plans out for the garden. We break ground on the garden tomorrow, so we're gonna kind of go over it together and just kind of finalize or kind of get an idea to make sure we're all on the same page. And of course, we'll bring you along on all of that as we build out our dream garden. Our dough has been proofing for about 15 minutes. So now I'm gonna shape it into our buns. This is a beautiful dough. We're gonna get 6 buns out of this. So I'm trying to make this a circle so I can make even shaped buns. We'll do in half and then in thirds. Now I'm going to shape these a little bit different than I would my typical hamburger buns. I'm still going to do the same technique where I'm going to kind of tuck them in on themselves, and then we're going to roll it. But instead of keeping them a really nice round ball shape, I'm going to flatten them because a hamburger bun is flatter and I need it to be wider. So I'm actually going to flatten them pretty thin so that hopefully we get a nice bun shape. I have a pan out with a piece of parchment paper, and we're gonna let them proof on here. So we'll move our onions and cheese out of the way, and I'll continue to shape our hamburger buns. I can already tell I didn't totally cut these evenly. This one's gonna be a little bit bigger, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Do I know what I'm doing? No, I did not look up a recipe. We're just adapting one we've made a lot, and hopefully it turns out well. Sometimes things turn out well when I experiment in the kitchen, sometimes they don't. And only time will tell whether this is going to turn out or not. I know the hamburger patties should be good, so if the buns don't turn out, then we will have a low carb dinner tonight. We have our 6 buns. I did just beat up an egg wash because we're gonna put an egg wash after they rise for an hour. And I also grabbed out some sesame seeds. We need to use these up too. That's a lot to use up, but I'm gonna go ahead and put those on our buns as well. But before we do that, we're gonna let these rise for 30 minutes. Okay, they are ready to be egg washed. I just beat an egg. I didn't put any water or anything because, oh, I can hear Mister in the background. He's with his grandma and with Josh, so he's in good hands if you can hear him too. We're gonna get these on. And you know what I need to do? I also need to turn the grill on. But first, we'll just sprinkle some sesame seeds. They look so cute already. I've never done this before, so this is kind of fun. I have the oven set to 400 degrees. We're gonna stick this in here. And now I'm gonna go turn on the grill, which I haven't done since probably September, so it's exciting. I have the grill warming and cleaning, meaning I'm just burning off what was on there before, but these are ready to come out of the oven. And I think they turned out beautiful. So we're gonna let those cool a little bit. They're a little bit on the dark side. They're not over, like, burnt at all, but I want them to stay nice and soft. So I'm just throwing this towel over them, and that will keep the crust nice and soft. That is just one little tip that I have found when making bread, is if you kind of overcook it, just throw a towel over it and it'll keep the crust nice and soft. For tonight's side, I have a salad here. This is a salad kit I got at Costco just for easy convenience. It's creamy Italian chopped salad. It has cabbage, romaine, crunchy croutons, Parmesan cheese, Romano cheese, kale, and carrots. This is just a nice, convenient, easy side. What I really should probably be doing is peeling some potatoes and roasting potatoes, because we need to use up those potatoes, but I don't have the energy for that tonight. So this salad kit is coming in handy for the win tonight. So we're gonna go ahead and now get the burgers on the grill. I put some salt and pepper on our burgers, and I brought out our cheese and onions. And what I'm gonna do is flip these. I need to heat that up. And then, let's see. Woohoo! Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them finish cooking on this side, but I'm going to get our onions. I'm going to see if I can do this like here. And then we're going to put our cheese on, and that cheese is going to help lock in that onion so that it doesn't fall off. So now I'm going to close this, and we're going to let that just melt and finish cooking. So here is our dinner, our buns. Josh just walked in the house.
Oh wow.
And there is the burgers. We've got ketchup, mayo, and mustard. I do know how to make mayonnaise from scratch, but we have that, so we're going to use that. I have my homemade ketchup downstairs, but we're going to use this because it's in the fridge. Mustard is on my food preservation list of things to do. during this pantry challenge because I have all the ingredients to make homemade mustard and get that on the pantry shelf. We have some pickles. I already opened and ate one of these peaches and our salad. So, Josh, are you hungry?
Very hungry.
Perfect, let's eat.
That's awesome.
I thought I would show you. I just cut into one of these buns and I think these are gonna be perfect for tonight's burger. We are on day 2 of week 2 of Pantry Challenge, and I'm gonna be doing quite a bit of baking today. I have 4 baking recipes that I am going to be bringing to the post office to bless some postal workers. I wanted to do this before Christmas, but never got to it, so we're gonna surprise them for the new year. So I went through and just found a couple things in my pantry that I wanna use up. I will film all those recipes. It will be in a different video. I'll show you what they're gonna look like though today. But because I am doing so much baking, I don't want to spend a ton of time cooking dinner because after I do this baking, I'm gonna be running down into town. I've got 2 appointments I gotta go to and I wanna drop off these goodies. So I took a freezer meal out. We're gonna cook up tonight. This is some enchiladas, I think. I didn't mark on it, but that's what it looks like when I pulled the foil down a little bit. So we're gonna be a little bit surprised whether that's a green salsa enchilada or a red salsa enchilada. We'll know when we open it. So for now though, I am gonna go do a ton of baking. I just got home from running errands. I just brought to the post office. This is the remnants of what we kept at home, but these are cranberry white chocolate cookies. We've got some pretzel peanut butter cookies with chocolate chips, and then we made some toffee and some lemon bars. And I'm so glad, and then I had a couple other errands I had to run. We've been running around, the baby and I, for a couple hours now, and I just am so grateful that I don't have to worry about dinner. This has just been thawing on the counter, and I am gonna tent it with 1 piece of foil. I took the rest of the foil off of this. I have the oven preheated, or preheating. It's not preheated yet. I need to take this out. It's only 100 degrees in there right now, so that's not hot. And we will get these in the oven cooking so we can enjoy a nice dinner tonight. It is already 6 o'clock. It's times like these when I would be very tempted to run and get takeout, you know, running around errands all day and then, or evening. And if I didn't have dinner ready, prepped, either already cooked or freezer meal ready to go into the oven, then that's when you fall into the trap of, I'm just shutting this door because it was open, you know, getting takeout or, yeah, doing that. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but we try to be a little bit more intentional when we eat out because it's so expensive, especially now that when we eat out, we try to make sure it's like a special occasion or we're just planning it and it doesn't become one of those things where I just didn't plan and so then we default to eating out. And this is going to be an excellent dinner. I have some sour cream and salsa and some chips in the pantry that we can have along with this dinner. And here is our dinner, fresh out of the oven. I could have put those on broil to brown them up a little bit, but we're hungry, so we're not gonna worry about that. Our toppings, some chips. These are leftover from the meal train, so we're gonna enjoy a nice dinner tonight. Today is December 11th, and we have started the garden project and huge landscaping project, which is really exciting. My parents wanted to come over this evening to see how the first day is going. So I am gonna cook dinner. I said, do you want dinner when you come over? And they said, sure. So yesterday was January 10th, and we just had leftovers because we still have plenty of food in the refrigerator, but I don't want to serve my parents leftovers. So what I did is I pulled out some teriyaki chicken from the freezer. We made this in the postpartum freezer meal. We're gonna do some grilling today because the weather is pretty decent right now, which is great. And then we're not gonna be eating dinner for a while, but I'm just prepping things. So right here I have some rice. We will make some rice for the side. And then the green beans that I prepped but never made, we're gonna go ahead and make those for dinner tonight. So it's gonna be a really easy dinner. I've been in and out all day with trying to be involved with the landscaping and garden project as much as possible. So I didn't want anything that was gonna keep me in the kitchen for any extended period of time. So that's why we pulled out a freezer meal. It's gonna be easy and delicious and just perfect for tonight's dinner. I just turned the grill on. We are gonna be grilling those chicken thighs. It was beautiful earlier today. It's kind of gotten a little cloudy and cold, but definitely warm enough to use the grill. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get going on the rest of the dinner. My parents are coming over for dinner tonight, and they'll be here in about 30 minutes. So I thought, let's go ahead and just get dinner going so that it's nice and warm when they get here. I'm gonna steam these green beans in this pot. So I put about a cup of water in there, which is perfect because that leaves me with 3 cups of water to put in here. I'm getting used to cooking rice in my Instant Pot. So we have 3 cups of rice, 3 cups of water, and I need to take my coat off, but I always have to look how long to cook rice in the Instant Pot for. 3 minutes, and use the natural release, but we should add a little bit of salt. The garden project started today. We didn't actually start on the garden today. We started on some of the landscaping around the house because that we're kind of doing like demo first, like getting rid of all the plants that we don't need so that we can make room for the plants that we are gonna plant. So it always looks a little bit worse before it's gonna look any better. So we're gonna get that mixed up. That's just water, salt, and rice. All right, so this has been steaming and almost all the water is out because we're not gonna be eating for, 20 minutes or so. What I think I'm gonna do is just turn the stove off. But I'm gonna stick a pat of butter on there to melt, along with a little bit of salt. We're just keeping this dinner really, really simple tonight. And then some pepper. Salt, pepper, butter, green beans, delicious. And then I think our grill has got to be ready, so we can go out there and we can cook up our chicken thighs. I love having chicken thighs with teriyaki. I just think they have a little bit better flavor, and they just have a really good texture. They don't dry out like chicken breasts do. They're a little bit more forgiving, I think. That's probably the best word. So here we go. We're just gonna let these green beans sit here and let that butter melt. I pulled the chicken thighs out of the freezer this morning. I let them just thaw at room temperature for about 2 hours. They were still about halfway frozen. I put them on a plate, I stuck them in the refrigerator to finish thawing, and now they're nice and thawed, so we can get these on the grill. When I made my freezer meals, I put 8 chicken thighs in each one of these packages, and I ended up grabbing 2 out because we're having company over for dinner, and that way we can have leftovers. So let's see, the grill says that it is 450 degrees, so it's pretty hot. I'm gonna scrub it clean here. This is a wooden scrubber and it burns whole, or it was flat, and as you use it, it kind of burns the ridges into it. And apparently it's supposed to be better for you than using the metal ones because the metal ones can leave little flecks of metal, apparently, on your grill, and then that could get into your food. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's why I bought this one, because that's how it was advertising itself. I just got it at Lowe's or Home Depot, I can't remember, wherever we bought our grill. Now, I have never personally grilled chicken thighs before, so this is going to be a first for me. I haven't done a ton of grilling. We just got this grill last summer. I guess I only put 6 chicken thighs in each one of these freezer bags, so I'm really glad that I grabbed 2 out because there's going to be 4 of us tonight. So this would not probably be enough for us tonight anyway. So I'm glad I brought 2 out. I wish you could smell this. I have not grilled any teriyaki anything before personally. It smells like a teriyaki restaurant. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad I have this grill. Josh and I, if you watched when we purchased this grill, we bought it when we bought this house. For 7 years I wanted a grill and we just never bought one. And then we finally broke down and bought it. We used it all throughout the summer. But still not enough where I feel like I have a ton of confidence in my grilling abilities, and I took probably 3 months, 4 months off from using it, and I'm so excited that even though it's winter still, and I'll only be able to use it, you know, random days out of the year, it's cold, but I'll still be able to use it. We are under cover, which is nice. Oh, it just smells so good. I feel like this grill just elevates a really simple dinner, like teriyaki chicken, rice, and green beans. I'm gonna go wash my tongs because this is the only metal set I have, and since I used raw chicken, I want to wash these really, really well before I come in here and start flipping these chicken thighs. I just turned my oven on warm setting so that when I take the chicken off, if we're not ready to eat dinner yet, I can pop the cooked chicken into this 9x9 Pyrex. Have a piece of foil, we'll put the foil on the top, put this in the oven to keep warm. But now we need to check on the chicken, and I had to go in and, oh my goodness, it's perfect! I had to go change the baby, so I was a little bit worried that it was probably overcooked. But that's looking beautiful, some good charring on it, not too much. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. This is our homemade teriyaki sauce recipe. The recipe I can link down below if you're interested in it. It has Korean red pepper flakes, which you can see right there. There's one of the red pepper flakes. The red pepper flakes are called gochugaru. They have a sweet heat to them and they're absolutely fantastic and I love them. And that's really what makes this teriyaki. It's sweet. It's got a teeny bit of heat, but kind of a sweet heat because of that red pepper flakes. I'm gonna run inside and get my thermometer. Oh wow, it's basically done. It's at 185, which is, let's see. Yeah, these are done. You want your chicken above 165, and we are there. Let's check one that's really thick, just to make sure. So that one has a little bit more to go, but the ones that are a lot thinner, those are ready to go. So we'll pull the thin ones. They will continue to cook just a little bit off the grill. So we got one really good char on one side. I'll just pull the thin ones first. I don't know if they'll all fit in this 9x13. Or 9x9. Get this wrapped up. I'm gonna let the grill continue to cook. I'm gonna close this and we're gonna let all that burn off. I like to clean my grill after I'm done using it so that when I go to use it, it's clean. I didn't do that last time I used it, so I want to get into that habit. The biggest thing, oh, Josh is home. Can you open the door for me, please? The biggest thing is just remembering to turn the propane off. So like setting a timer on your phone or something. Josh, would you be willing to set a timer on your phone to turn the propane off in like, I don't know, 8 minutes?
I was just going to count to 1,000.
Oh, he was going to count to 1,000. Taking my shoes off. You want to smell this? Look how good this looks. Come look at this. Yeah, you're going to really be able to smell it when I take the foil off.
Oh my goodness. That's going to be so good.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to put the foil on. We're just waiting for my parents to get here. So I'm going to open the oven. This is just on low, or it's on keep warm. That's why I didn't want to overcook them on the grill because they will continue to cook in here. We've got our green beans and our rice is done. Let's see if it, oh, no, it's not done. That has not released down yet. Josh is replacing the lights for me on this fan. Eventually that fan will go away and we'll just put a light there because we will never turn a fan on above a kitchen island. And now we have light. There was only 2 lights that worked up there before, so thanks for doing that. Did you have to just go buy those?
Did I have to just go buy them?
The light bulbs?
Yeah, I had to buy them.
We didn't already have them?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why there were only 2.
Oh, I just thought that they never got 4 put in there. All right, well, oh, I just got a seed catalog in the mail, it looks like. I have not, is that a seed catalog? Mm-hmm. I have not ordered any seeds yet. I started looking through one seed catalog today, but I have a lot more research I need to do before I order anything. I'm really excited about this year's garden. We broke ground on the garden today, which is a huge accomplishment. So we should mark our, oh my goodness, you know what today is?
What?
Today is my anniversary of posting my first YouTube video.
Are you serious? Today?
Yeah, I think so. The 11th.
Oh, wow.
2 years now. I've been on YouTube for 2 years. So thank you for being here with me. This is huge. I didn't even think about that. January 11th. I recorded my first video on January 10th, and I posted my first video on January 11th. I will link that video down in the description box if you're interested in seeing my very first video. So we will be back in the kitchen. We are still in week 2 of Pantry Challenge. We are going to be doing some actual cooking probably, and not just freezer meals. So look forward to that. I don't know what we're gonna be cooking. On Friday, I'm gonna be organizing the freezer. So we're gonna be cleaning out a ton of stuff, or like getting a bunch of stuff set aside so that we know what we wanna really use up during this pantry challenge, because we still have 6 weeks to go. Today's only Wednesday, so we're right in the beginning. I will see you next time we're in the kitchen. Happy Sunday, friends. We have not been in the kitchen doing any cooking since Wednesday. We've been eating off leftovers and just like snacks and fruit and stuff. And so I haven't really had to do any cooking. And now that it's Sunday, we have no leftovers in the fridge, and Josh is going to work tomorrow and he's gonna need some lunch. Plus, we're hungry tonight for dinner, so I am going to make something that I've been wanting to make for a really long time. And that is the viral TikTok feta tomato pasta. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get some water on to boil, because from what I understand, this pasta comes together really quickly. So we've got our water here. We're gonna make the pasta, or cook the pasta in here. I just put some salt in there. And we are going to set the oven to 425 degrees. I am about 1.5 years, I think, behind this TikTok trend, but I have yet to try it, and I want to, so we're gonna make it today. So we need some cherry tomatoes, and I have some other things in here like these onions. These are not in the recipe, but those need to be used up, so we're gonna use some of those. And feta cheese. So first thing I'm gonna do is chop up some of this onion. This is leftover onion from when we made those burgers. And I don't want it to go to waste, so we're going to go ahead and get these used up here. Having to get kind of creative on how to dice this, because it was already kind of pre-diced. So we're gonna get our diced onions into a baking dish. I have one more container of onions that I had already pre-diced in the refrigerator, so I want to make sure we use those up. This is some garlic that I peeled, or that my family helped me peel during the garlic peeling party that I have in the freezer. You can freeze garlic cloves really easily, so I'm going to put a handful of those in there. If you are going to freeze garlic though in the freezer, you want to have a couple layers thick, or a couple layers of plastic between your garlic and your freezer, just to keep the smell in. So I'm going to put this back in the freezer. I'm going to wash up a bunch of tomatoes. We're going to get half of these cherry tomatoes in here. Or you know what? Let's go ahead and put all of them. Traditionally, when you make this, you use a block of feta. I don't have a block of feta, but I have these crumbles, so we're gonna use this. And what I think I'm gonna do first, let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle, the recipe said about 8 ounces, and this is 24 ounces, so I'm going to put maybe that much in there. Feta can be kind of a strong flavor. And then we've got some oil. Salt, pepper, and the last thing we're going to put on this is some red pepper flakes, just a pinch, not too much. And I'm going to get in here with my hands, and I'm going to toss all this around. I'm going to try to get everything coated with some of that oil so that it's going to toast up and roast up really nicely in the oven. Now we're gonna take our basically pasta sauce. This is what this is gonna turn into, is the pasta sauce. Oh goodness, shoot. I knew I was gonna do that. I put some breadcrumbs in the oven on keep warm, and I almost burned them. These are for another meal we're gonna make later this week, but they are not burnt, they are toasty, so we're good. Later this week, I wanna make some schnitzel, and I needed breadcrumbs, and I had some sourdough breadcrumbs in the freezer, and I wanted them dry so that I could bread our chicken later this week. So I put it in the oven, but I almost forgot about it. We almost had a disaster on our hands. These are the only breadcrumbs I have in my house, so that would have been pretty sad if I burnt these. So I'm gonna let these cool, and then I'll put them in probably like a mason jar, and we will use these later this week with a different recipe. Week 3 of Pantry Challenge, which was to get these breadcrumbs out of my freezer. So that's gonna be great, but that will be for another night. We need a vegetable for tonight. This is gonna be a vegetarian meal because I'm not cooking any meat or anything. There's gonna be enough protein with the cheese and all that. So we don't need to worry about that, but I do want a vegetable for the side. I just washed up 3 zucchinis. I was trying to think, what vegetable am I going to pair with tonight's dinner? And we are running very low on fresh veggies in the fridge. So it's gonna start becoming a pantry challenge here pretty quickly because the vegetables that I bought together with you are starting to run out. So I have 3 zucchinis here that I'm gonna go ahead and put in the pasta dish. I'm just gonna cut them in half, and we need to use these or they are gonna go bad. And same with those tomatoes. They weren't bad yet, but they were, just drop some zucchini. I don't think my dog's gonna, maybe he's gonna eat it. Oh, he's eating it. That's surprising. I didn't know he liked zucchini. But the tomatoes were starting to look like they were showing signs of age, and these cute, if I can speak, these zucchinis, the same thing. So we're gonna go ahead and toss these into the pasta, and I think zucchini will go really well with this pasta. And that will be kind of our, along with the tomatoes and the zucchini will be our vegetable. Tibby, did you enjoy that? Do you want another zucchini? Sit. You want it? Is that yummy? I've never seen my dog eat zucchini before, but hey, can't be too bad for him, right? That is so funny. So all I'm gonna do with that zucchini is take it and put it in our pasta, and that way we can still just use 2 dishes to make dinner tonight. Basically, we can use the pot with the pasta that we're gonna cook it in, and this. I should probably give that a little bit of a stir, and that way the zucchini can roast along with the tomatoes and everything else in here. So I'm not totally following the TikTok recipe because I added onions and I added zucchini, but I think it'll still taste really good, hopefully. Let's see if this is basically boiling. I just have some pasta here that was in the pantry. I think you can use whatever kind of pasta you want for this recipe. This pasta says it needs to cook for 9 minutes. We're gonna taste test this. Perfect. Now we just wait for our pasta sauce to cook. Probably gonna take 25 minutes. While that's going, I'm gonna get going on some prep for the next week. I'm gonna prep a roast that I can put in the crock pot tomorrow since I'm already in the kitchen. I'm gonna do some prep work for that, and I'm gonna prep some breakfast. But this is gonna be in week 3 of Pantry Challenge because these are gonna be foods that we're gonna be eating in week 3 of Pantry Challenge. In the time it took for that pasta sauce to cook, because it's just done, we got dinner for tomorrow done. This is a roast I'll put in the crock pot tomorrow. And our steel cut oats are done. They are done right now. That's toasty hot. Ooh. So I'm gonna dish up our steel cut oats for the rest of the week, but our pasta sauce is done. Look how beautifully brown that is. That's perfect. I want to dish up my oats real quick before I deal with this, so I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to let that just sit there, and we'll come right back to it. Friends, this smells incredible. Oh my goodness. Okay, I wish I did not, well, I haven't tasted it yet, so I guess proof is in the pudding. We need to taste this before we say, I wish I had tried this sooner. But we've got our cooked pasta, our cooked cheese and veggie mixture, along with some pasta water in case we need to thin out the sauce. This probably would be really good with chicken in it, but I'm okay having a veggie meal. I'm going to pour this veggie mixture onto our pasta. You could probably pour the pasta onto the veggie mixture. Either way would probably be just fine. I'm going to stir this up. So it's definitely a light sauce. It's not a super thick sauce. The tomatoes are breaking down as I mix them in. And that cheese has definitely melted. I'm glad I put the onions and zucchini in here even before I taste it, because I can see that it'd be kind of nice to have a little bit more in there than just the cheese and the tomatoes, because I like a lot of stuff in my pasta. That looks really good. Let's give it a taste test. I want to try to get a little bit of tomato, zucchini, and pasta in my bite, so we can kind of have a perfect bite. All right, friends, I know the hype. I know why people have been sharing this recipe like crazy. It is delicious, simple, clean flavors. I was honestly, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I thought I put way too much feta cheese in there. I almost like scooped some of it out, and I thought it was gonna be way too overpowering feta forward, because you know feta can be a very strong cheese. I am shocked by how mild this tastes, and I put the perfect amount of red pepper flakes in there because I can even still feel a little bit of heat kind of in my mouth. I'm not going to put any of this pasta water because I think that this thickness of the sauce is perfect. I added more tomatoes too than the recipe that I looked up called for. I probably put about twice as much tomatoes in there as the recipe called for. So I'm going to go ahead and get this dished up. I'm not going to make any other side or anything tonight because I did enough cooking in the kitchen. We have breakfast now prepped for the rest of the week. I have dinner ready to go. All I have to do is turn the crock pot on. Josh has lunch for tomorrow. I feel like I did something else. Oh, we prepped for making our chicken schnitzel, which I cannot wait. I haven't had that in so long, and I'm so excited for chicken schnitzel. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal, as long as I don't mess it up, which I could, so I should probably not jinx myself. So I hope you enjoyed week 2 of Pantry Challenge. I had to think about it there for a second. We are going into week 3. I'm really excited about the recipes we are going to be making in week 3 for Pantry Challenge. This right now is when it starts to become a challenge because I am running out of fresh produce in my refrigerator. The only fresh produce is I have one more bag salad that needs to be eaten. I'll probably eat that for lunch tomorrow. We have carrots, which will stay good for a long time. I have fresh garlic, potatoes, onions, and then I have freezers full of veggies. So we're gonna start focusing on using those up. I'm really excited. And we get to get really creative. That's why I made a zucchini steel cut oats, because it was a way to use up a vegetable out of the freezer that is going into breakfast. And because I don't have a ton of fresh produce in my refrigerator, we're gonna get some zucchini in breakfast. And we're getting something out of the freezer. So it's kind of a win-win-win. So I'm really excited about that. If you enjoyed this video, I can pop a couple of my other videos here. I hope you are enjoying coming along with me on Pantry Challenge. I hope if you are contributing, if you are participating in the Pantry Challenge, you are having a good time. And if you're not, I hope you're just enjoying coming along the journey, because it is a journey and we're all in this together. So I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. You mean the world to me, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.